Hello again, vinyl community. This is Matt, and today I am going to show you a few records that I have been purging from my collection. I have a little stack here, and there's a few reasons. Number one, I'm just running out of space, so I need to figure out some way to free up some space for additional records. And then number two, there are a number of records I have that I bought on a whim, or they don't sound great, whatever the case may be. So I picked out a stack here, and again, these are just records that either I don't like or don't listen to, or are just not in very good condition, even if I like the record. So I try to be a little bit ruthless, but for the most part, it's just filler stuff that's in here. So I'm going to take these records maybe later today, see if I can trade them in at a record store. I don't expect to get too much for them. If I can get 15 or 20 bucks, that'll be fine, just in store credit. So yeah, it's kind of difficult when trying to purge a collection, because you've accumulated these records, and it can be a little bit hard to let them go. Not that I'm particularly attached to any of these, but I thought it was something that had to be done, and it was a good exercise to go through it. In fact, I didn't even get to go through all the records. Most of these were just records from memory that I went in and pulled out. I didn't really have a proper sort through every single record. I know that there's a few more in there that I could easily live without. But so let me show you what I pulled out and what's been culled from the collection. Number one, Southern Pacific Kilberry Hill. I showed this on a recent video. I found it at a Goodwill, but the first track skips like crazy, despite the record having been cleaned. So that one's going. Too bad, because it sounded okay, actually. I mean, it sounded like I was going to like it. Queen, the game. This was a recent eBay purchase, but unfortunately the condition is not good. Both the sleeve and the record are in much worse condition than advertised. Because I got this for so cheap, I'm not going to bother doing a return. I'm just going to try and trade it in. I'm sure it'll be playable, but I think it was advertised as like EX maybe, and I want to say the condition of the record at a glance appears to be around VG. It's got quite a few scratches on it, but I already have a replacement right here. So that one's gonna be going. Next up, Stevie Wonder, The Secret Life of Plants. Yeah, this was a mistake. I bought this on eBay last year. I don't know. It's really more of almost like a soundtrack album. It's very it's more of a composition than it is Stevie Wonder's usual kind of, R&B or pop type stuff, or soul. And I did give it a quick try. It's not for me, so that one's going. Next up, this is a 12-inch single, George Duke. I Am For Real, May the Funk Be With You. I got this as part of an eBay lot. This was just a bonus. I didn't get the lot for this record. I have tried it. It's okay, but I'm not attached to it at all. Next up, Lava Love, Whole Lava Love. This again was part of an eBay lot. I got the lot actually for two Loverboy albums, and it came with a few other records as well, but the Loverboy albums were what I was bidding on. So yeah, this was kind of a bonus, but I gave it a quick listen. It's okay, but again, I didn't bid on the auction to get this record. I'd never even heard of Lava Love, actually, to be honest with you, and yeah, so that one can go. And I think this was actually from the same auction. This Let's Active Afoot. So yeah, that one's going as well. Next up we have, LA Light album by the Beach Boys. I think this is kind of regarded as one of the worst albums. To be fair, I think I only paid $1 for it at a record store. More than a year ago, maybe even a year and a half ago. I've never listened to it, to be honest with you, so don't really intend to keep it. Next up, oh, Touching Gone by Gary Wright. This was a Savers thrift store purchase at some point. I do have his Dreamweaver album, which is actually really good album. This sounds completely different. It's much more synth driven, and it's just, I wasn't crazy about it. Next up, yeah, this one's a real shame. Ram Jam, self-titled, good album, and of course I got it for Black Betty, the classic song. The problem is it skips, even though it looks like it shouldn't. Record looks really nice, but yeah, it skips all over the place. So it's too bad. Maybe it would probably play fine on a turntable with a higher tracking force, but yeah, that's too bad. Next up, Private Eye, self-titled album. Bought this on a whim at a Goodwill at one time, and I think they're a Canadian sort of soft rock band, if I remember. I did give it a real quick try, but I didn't listen to the entire album, and yeah, again, not attached to it in any way, so that one can go. Next up, we have another 12-inch single. This is Pet Shop Boys' New York City Boy. I would actually have probably kept this, because I do like the Pet Shop Boys. I have several of their albums, but it's really weird. It's almost like it's a bootleg. I've never seen a Dead Wax as narrow as this, and in fact it even gets a little ridiculous. The B-side, it's misaligned, and so the label here actually goes beyond the Dead Wax, and it goes into the grooves of the record. So you can't actually play this to the end, at least not safely, not without the stylus jumping. So yeah, no, I think again I only paid $1 or $2 for this. So, yeah, it's fine. Okay, Last Salute, Getting the Fear. I think I showed this at some point too. I got this from a record store. It was only $1. Bought it on a whim. It's actually in really nice condition. I think they're a British band, but yeah. So this, yeah, Getting the Fear. I think they are British, but it's just okay. It is in nice condition actually, but again, when and I do like the artwork a lot, but like, why am I going to keep something that I just bought on a whim? It's not like I had to have it. I just thought, oh, it looks kind of interesting, and when I played it, it's just all right. Next up, this is oh yeah, Joyce Fenderella Irby, Mr. DJ. I don't remember, to be honest, if this was a hit in the US. I have a feeling it might have been at least a minor hit, but this is not an artist I grew up with. And I think this is 80s or is early 90s. It's 89, so right at the end of the 80s. And it's just, yeah, again, I didn't grow up with it. Again, this was part of an eBay lot. I didn't bid on the lot for this record. It just happened to come with it. Gave it a try. It's okay. Do I need it? No. I think I have ripped it though. I did rip it to digital. Next up, Righteous Brothers Greatest Hits. I recently bought the double album, the double Greatest Hits album, which includes this, which I showed in a recent video. And yeah, it's not in very good condition. I way overpaid for this at a thrift store. It was when I was first getting back into vinyl. Didn't know what I was doing, and believe me, I still don't claim to be sort of, the expert of all experts or anything, but I definitely know more now than I did back then. This is right at the start of me getting back into it, and the condition's terrible. I mean, it does play, it does, but it's yeah, it's got quite a few scratches on it, so honestly, if they'll even take this, I'll probably get at best 50 cents for it, maybe 25 cents or something. But I don't even need it. Like I said, I have the other Greatest Hits album now. And finally, this is Fanny Gold, or Fanny Goldie. It's spelled Golde. Self-titled album. Again, this was part of an eBay lot. I don't have any attachment to it. I think I did give it a quick try. It's okay. I can't even remember what kind of music it is, to be honest. I think it's sort of pop or disco. Yeah, it came out in '79. That's the release date on here, so that would fit if it was kind of disco. So yeah, these records are all going um, to the record store. Uh, if I can get 20, I would be really happy. I'm not sure about that, to be honest. I think it's more likely maybe 15, and that would just be on the basis of the Queen and Stevie Wonder albums. Most of the other records, um, I probably won't even get $1 for a piece. Maybe a few of them, but most of them are going to be under $1. So yeah, we'll see how that goes later tonight. Yeah, it's sort of a, like I said, a funny thing, kind of trimming the collection, because um, on the one hand you want to be a little bit ruthless, because you think, okay, if something's just not in, if it's not in nice condition, like that Ram Jam album, I would have loved to have kept that, but what's the point? It skips all over the place. And like I said before, maybe a turntable with a heavier tracking force would be fine with it, but um, unfortunately mine, at least track 1 skips. I'm not sure about the rest of the album, so it's too bad. And yeah, it's you want to try and be ruthless, but also I think as time has gone on, I've become a little more discerning when it comes to condition when buying records. That's something I was talking to Greg about. Um, Gregory Short. Little shout out to Greg. He has a channel on here. Excellent channel. Go check it out. But yeah, I was talking to him about that, and he sort of said the same thing, that over time he's become more discerning and more critical, I guess, in a way, or objective when it comes to buying records. Thinking, getting, you kind of have to get over that initial adrenaline rush you get, like in a thrift store or wherever, when you're digging through and you're like, oh, you kind of got to just set that aside and think, okay, do I actually want this? If I don't really want it, is it worth any money? Because, if it is, it might still be worth buying it and selling it or trading it in. And also, does the condition justify it? And in many cases it doesn't. I think that was the case with a few of these records I just showed you. Probably the case with a few others in my collection too. In fact, now that I think about it, I've got one in mind already. I have Emotional Rescue Rolling Stones, and as I remember, the cover on that one's kind of torn, so I might try and just get rid of that one too. Um, it is a Rolling Stones album, you don't like to, but at the same time, if it's not in very good condition, what are you hanging on to it for? If you really wanted the album that badly, you would buy one that was in better condition. That's how I think you have to try to look at it. And again, that's something that now, having been doing this a little while, couple of years almost, I think the longer you do it, the more you start to realize that what's the point in just buying any old crap from the thrift store? Because if it doesn't look like it's in great condition, it's probably not going to sound like it either. And I know. Again, when back a couple of years ago when I was buying some of these, I especially like that Righteous Brothers album. I think I paid like $6 for it. I mean, it was way overpriced. But I didn't know any better, I was just getting back into it. I thought, oh, it's the Righteous Brothers. I like them. $6, take my money. And of course they did. Without even thinking to myself, well, I mean, I would have seen that the condition wasn't great, but I probably figured, oh, the record doesn't look too bad. I'm sure it plays okay. And it's always difficult, when you're caught in the moment at a thrift store or even a record store, and you think, oh, yeah, I've got to get that, got to get it. Sometimes it helps just to take a couple of minutes and take a step back and just think, do I actually need it? And I've had that happen. I've had you go to a store and you've got a stack of records, and by the time you've looked through them, by the time you've walked up to pay for them, I do find sometimes that the kind of the little rush just settles down, and I'm able to think a little more clearly, and then I think, okay, let's pull out one or two of these. I was kind of on the fence about them. Do I really need to get these? You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's enough of my rambling. I've got this stack to go trade in, so I'll let you guys know how that goes. They'll probably take most of them. I just, like I said, I'm not going to get a huge amount of money for them, which is fine. So thank you guys as always for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and until next time, bye bye.